What's up, y'all? So, I am here and I'm going to be covering Machamp and Machoke, and man, these guys are powerful. So, Machamp had a lot of issues. Primarily, it wasn't even that bulky and it wasn't very fast. So, befitting to the superpower Pokemon, he now has a base 150 attack stat, which, without context, might seem ridiculous, but in this hack, the power levels are very high to the point where 150 base attack is not even that crazy, because he has no boosting ability. Obviously, Defiant is technically his abilities are boosting in the way they work, but there's no ability that outright increases the damage output, like objectively. So, he's a lot more balanced in that sense. 150 base attack is far from even close to the strongest Pokemon in hack. He is very powerful, don't get me wrong, as he should be. He is fucking Machamp. Machoke also has a good 120 base attack stat, very good. And Machoke is actually a viable Pokemon with Violet now. So Kadabra wasn't, purely because it's just worse in every way, because Alakazam is a fast Pokemon. The bulk that you would get from Violet is not worth it. When you're missing out on all that power, and then the Mega as well, it just wouldn't be worth it. If there was a Mega Machamp, then Machoke probably wouldn't even be a Violet Mon either, because there's no real point, because you're giving up a Mega and you're giving up a Champ. So, but in this case, there is not obviously a Mega Machamp, so Machoke is a genuine Violet option. The pre-evolutions have the abilities Defiant and Scrappy, because No Guard is useless on Machoke for the mid game. Obviously, if you keep Machoke, it's good in the same way it's good on Machamp, but I didn't want to balance it around that. I didn't want to give them an ability that's useless for the early game and mid game. So Scrappy is a great ability for him. It also makes them a little bit different. It makes the two kind of unique from one another, because Scrappy is situationally a lot better than No Guard, especially because No Guard is a double-edged sword. Yes, you won't be missing your attacks. However, you also can't be missed as well. So if you switch into something, you know for a fact it'll hit you, which is kind of a downside. Let me sneeze real quick. Oh, God. Oh, it went away. Oh, I hate that feeling. Oh, come on, it was right there. Excuse me, everybody. So, Machamp, yeah. So, it keeps this very good base 90 HP, because it is a pretty giant guy. He's actually not that tall, but he's just, he's huge. He's like this bulky ass motherfucker. So he has a good base 90 HP, which is very solid. And then I actually gave him even more physical defense. So he has base 100 physical defense now. Again, that makes a lot of sense, given that he is literally just like a pure muscle wrestler guy, and he has 4 arms, and he should definitely have a solid defense stat. His bulk is nothing to write home about. It's good, but it's not great, especially because fighting only resists bug in this hack. Same with Theory and Ghost. They don't resist bug anymore. So that leaves fighting with only 2 resists to Rock and Dark, which is one of the worst defensive types in the game, alongside Normal, which Normal was actually better, in my opinion, because Normal has an immunity, and I'd rather have immunity to Ghost than resist to Dark and Rock, personally, especially because being immune to Ghost is unique to normal types, and Ghost is one of the best offensive types in the game, because only 2 things are either resistant or immune to it. So, yeah, pure fighting is definitely one of the worst offensive types in the game. Sorry, defensive. Jesus, terrible misspeak. Yeah, one of the worst defensive types in the game, as it should be, because it's the fighting type. It's all about offense, and it's still obviously a great offensive type, which I like. So yeah. And resisting Rock and Dark is still solid enough, and you do have very good natural bulk. So a Violet Machoke is very, very, very tanky. 70, 85, 60 doesn't seem that great, but again, with a Violet, it's very, very potent, and he is very strong. Plenty strong to just be strong on his own. I think that these stats also fit Machoke much better. Also, I prefer Machoke. I don't know why. I just like the more reptilian look, and I like how the muscles are torn. It's kind of fucking sick. Machoke is cooler. But anyways, I also like his face more. It looks less awkward than Machamp's. Excuse me. So, they are also both much faster. As a whole, the line is faster, which is helpful for them, obviously. They didn't really make sense to be that slow anyways. I mean, base 90 doesn't fit or anything, but, he's a wrestler. You can move around relatively quickly. So if you check where he chalks up in the speed tier guide currently, it's not that great. But, of course, he has access to tons of priority. He can run Choice Scarf, and he has access to speed boosting moves like Agility and Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance is 2 things. It's number 1, it's a funny nod to the dragon type Machamp that I had in the files for. It's a long story. It's a meme, so I thought it was kind of funny, and also it does genuinely fit pretty well in my opinion. I have been giving Dragon Dance to a lot more like reptilian type Pokemon, and so I think it does. I mean, Machamp is like vaguely reptilian in the slightest sense, and he is a fighter, so I don't know. I thought Dragon Dance was cool. It is the literal last TM you get access to, so it's not like it's very overpowered. You'll only be having Dragon, and Dragon Dance is great, but it's only for the first half of it's for like the second half of Pony Island. Essentially, you get it once you get to Totem Komodo. It's sitting in there, so it's not the most overpowered thing in the world. And of course, he does have access to agility. He also has bulk up and swords dance. Bulk up should not be a new TM. Excuse me. There we go. If you're listening, it's because I have plus buttons for the plus indicators to indicate if the move was new or not. That they didn't get that move before by TM. Obviously, all the new TMs have the plus. But anyways. Yeah, Defiant, No Guard, Scrappy. So Scrappy is great, especially for the AI, because obviously if you're running Scrappy, you can always just run a dark coverage move like Knock Off or Sucker Punch, which are great. But it's still nice to have Scrappy as the player because number one, it gives you more move slots to run other coverage moves. And number two, you can actually hit a lot of ghost types super effectively. So you can hit all of the ghost dual types that are weak to fighting super effectively. So for example, a Ghost Rock, which there will be one, or I don't know, Ghost Steel, which there is one, or Aegis Slash, all right, or Double Blade, that kind of stuff. All right, it's good to hit those super effectively. You know, Ghost Ice, Frost Blast, whatever. You can always hit those ones super effectively with like your fighting moves. Defiant is an excellent ability, very fitting. Something challenging I had to do was balance all of the pure fighting types to be unique from one another and to still be like viable. So how many pure fighting types are there? So in this hack there are 8 technically. There's Primate, Machamp, Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, Hitmontop, Hariyama, and Sawk and Throw. Sawk and Throw will have the same abilities, their main difference. Like I might actually give them one different ability. I think that'd be kind of cool, but yeah, it's gonna be really cool. We already know if you don't know what Primate does in this hack, you can go check that out. He's a lot faster and technically a lot stronger with Hustle than Machamp, but obviously that's with Hustle. Without Hustle, he's weaker, but he is much faster and less bulky. Hitmonlee and the Hitmons have their own video as well. You can check those out, but all of them are on not nearly as bulky as Machamp is, besides maybe Hitmontop with Intimidate. But Hitmontop is not nearly as strong as Machamp is. So yeah, Machamp is a pretty good mix of like bulk, attack, and speed. He is not amazing. I mean, he's not overpowered or anything. Again, that speed set is not the greatest. It's good, and of course, you do have priority in Bullet Punch, Mach Punch, First Impression, and I didn't get them Sucker Punch. Really? What, did I think it'd be overpowered or something? Man, Sucker Punch is fine, man. Let me throw that on there. What the hell are they fucking punching Pokemon? I mean, they're not de-punching Pokemon, but why do they? Yeah, that's stupid. They should definitely have that. Let me just. Yeah, Acrobatics is kind of cursed, anyways. I'll just give him a. I thought it was funny because I like the fighting moves, but I'll just. Because I'm like at the wrestling move, but I'll leave it off and I'll throw on Sucker Punch there, which should be before Natural Gift chronologically. And it probably has it in the files. It's probably just a typo moment if I had to guess. Let me check, make sure that it has it. But yeah, First Impression's great, very powerful, good coverage for a fighting type, of course. Check out Sucker. Sorry, but yeah, he has Sucker Punch on the files. That was just a typo moment. Funny. Yeah, no, he has Sucker Punch. Oh, and I should also remove Acrobatics. Excuse me, guys, I should not be doing this live, but I just do not want to forget, because I will probably forget if I don't do it right now. Yeah, no Acro. Alright, we're good. So, back on topic. Sorry about that. Basically, when you're choosing to evolve or not, you're basically choosing between abilities, Scrappy and Defiant options. Sorry, Scrappy and No Guard options, and you're choosing between, you know, the bulk versus the power. So Machoke is 10 points slower and 30 points weaker, but it is significantly bulkier with the Violite. Of course, Machamp can also have Machamp also has a lot of item freedom. You know, because it's not burdened by a Violate. Not that a Violate is a burden necessarily. Of course, Machoke can still run stuff like Choice Band and Choice Scarf, because he has solid stats on his own right. Ah, God, that hurts. Sorry, there's something on my ow. Just leave it alone. Yeah, so you are slower and weaker, but you are much bulkier. However, Machamp can run me an Assault Vest set. That's already what it does a lot of the time, but now it can run it even better. I did drop his special defense a tiny bit, just for like balancing reasons, and also because I just think it fits less to have a higher special defense. I think having higher physical defense makes more sense for Machamp because he is a a giant fighter with 4 giant arms. So 80 spread F is great though. Still, like that's a very solid special defense set for a Pokemon with stats like this, and you can again use Drain Punch. Assault Vest sets are excellent on it. Did they not get Drain Punch before? That's crazy. I mean, I did these. Also, yeah, if you're curious, I did do these changes a while ago. Like probably a month or 2 ago at this point. I'm only recording videos for the Kanto Monza now because the first half of Kanto I didn't record videos for. Yeah, didn't get Drain Punch. That's odd. I mean, obviously I knew that because I put it here, but It's been like a couple months. So yeah. All right. Before I talk about anything else, I'm going to talk about no guard stuff, and then I'll talk about like the nitty gritty of everything else and all their new moves and all the cool stuff they can do. So God, that hurts, man. Let me leave it alone. But all right. Excuse me, guys. Yeah. No guard. You do have a lot of great options. Dynamic Punch has been repurposed into a move called Knockout Punch, which is actually a lot cooler. So Knockout Punch is stronger than Dynamic Punch is, more accurate than Dynamic Punch is, and it has a better effect. Or not even arguably, honestly, objectively, it has a better effect. So Knockout Punch is a 80% accurate move, which is not terrible in its own right, which is why No Guard is not that great of an ability now, especially on a bulky mon. No Guard is really good on fast offensive mons because if they miss, they're fucked. If they miss, they might die. Machamp, if he misses, he'll be okay. You know, he'll be fine. He's bulky enough to just not have to worry about it too much. But it's No Guard is still a great ability. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing. I mean, you don't have to worry about the accuracy ever, which is awesome. But most moves are above 85% accuracy. There's very few that are below 85. One of those is Knockout Punch, which is a 130 base power move that is 80% accurate. And what it does is it makes the opponent drowsy. The logic being, you know, they knocked you out so hard you're fucking falling asleep the next turn. It's really fucking cool. That's really useful and very, very strong. Hence why it's at level 70, which is the end of the hack, or the league and stuff, which is, you know, yeah. Knockout Punch is a great move with no guard. Also, Storm Throw is good. Storm Throw is 120 base power, 90% accuracy, and always crits, which is arguably better because that bypasses stuff like Intimidate. However, you do have Defiant for when Pokemon have Intimidate, so, you know, 50-50 right there. Okay, so I got a text. Other than that, you have Stone Edge and Megaton Kick, which are inaccurate. Stone Edge and Megaton Kick are both 120 base power and 90% accurate. Stone Edge is 80 base power. Technically, it's the same as Storm Throw. So Storm Throw and Stone Edge are both 80 base power, 90% accurate moves, but they always crit, so they're effectively 120 base power. So those are all awesome. Obviously, like No Guard isn't that great. Like your moves are not that inaccurate. I just kept it because of Soul, because Machamp is like known for having no guard, and it's a good ability. Don't get me wrong, it is good. It's just not that great. It's just nice to not have to worry about the accuracy. So yeah, Knockout Punch is incredible. Storm Throw is incredible with no guard, and then Megaton Kick is ground, Stone Edge is rock coverage, which are both important for fighting. And then you have slightly inaccurate moves like Zen Headbutt, Hell Thrust are both 95% accurate, 100 base power. Gunk Shot is 110 base power, 90% accurate, so that's also good with no guard. Gunk Shot is also really important for fairies. So yeah, no guard sets are great, don't get me wrong, but Defiant is obviously incredible. There are actually a lot of new moves that always drop stats, so I'm going to go cover some of those now. So obviously this covers Intimidate, and there are a lot more Intimidate Pokemon in this hack, so that's already great. Defiant with Machamp, you know, you can use that with like speed boosting sets to get a really good attack boost and speed boost. You can use that with priority moves like Mach Punch and Bullet Punch and Sucker Punch, and First Impression. Excuse me. What am I looking for again? Mach Punch. What was I just looking for? Damn it. Talking about Machamp. Talking about the oh yeah, the dropping moves. All right, let's just scroll up. I don't remember exactly what the wording was, so I know where they are, like chronologically where the moves are. Not chronologically, rather. You know what I mean? In order. Here they are. So there's a bunch of new moves that always drop the opponent's stats that are attacking moves. Not to mention that a lot of moves have like a high chance to drop stats, especially with like Serene Grace and stuff. So it's really nice to have that. But besides intimidating that, you have stuff like Skitter Smack, Mystical Fire, Struggle Bug, Dismal Cry, Aurora Beam, Feather Ball, Skirmish, Breaking Swipe, Drop Kick, Harmonize, Disarming Voice. All those attacking moves will drop stats, a physical or special attack stat. And then you have moves like Psycho Break, Whiplash, Vine Lashes, Fire Lash, Lunge, Rock Smash, Acid Spray, Spew Out. That drops special defense or defense. And then you have Bubble Burst, Muddy Water. I'm not okay. Let me not ruin your guys' ears by listing all these out. This was inaccurate. That was before I changed the power of these moves. So yeah, tons of. All right, the point is like a lot of moves now always drop a stat, such as attack, special defense, speed, etc. And then the ones that don't also probably have a chance to do it. So that's always great with Defiant. Really, it is like it's a lot more. It's a lot less situational than it used to be, which is awesome. Inadvertent buff, you could call it. that's awesome, right? Defiant's a very reliable and strong ability. Of course, it's not always going to activate every battle, and you might have to force it to activate in certain situations. Maybe take a hit that you would otherwise want to take just to get the Defiant boost, which is, you know, a fair strategy. And then Scrappy, I already covered why that's good. And of course, you do have access to infinite usability capsules, so you can always just swap Scrappy on when you need it, and then swap it off when you don't need it, and run Defiant most of the other times. I would only run Scrappy if, like, you know, you know for a fact that the opponent's gonna have a Ghostmon. It's good for trainers though, because then you can't switch around as much. You can't switch into their fighting moves nearly as easily, which is really, really powerful. You know, makes it harder to play around them. Machoke specifically. That'll be good for Hala for sure. Especially because he evolves at 20, which is just in time for Hala. He'll definitely have one. It'll be strong. But you can also get that yourself if you really wanted to. He's not even that strong. I mean, you know, without a Violate, he's not that bulky. And like there are stronger Pokemon, trust me. Especially for the level 20 cap. Like there's a lot of level 20 evolutions that are like the final form that are 480 base stat total mons that are even stronger in terms of damage output, despite having lower physical attack stats because of their abilities and stuff. So that's awesome. Yeah, just good. I mean, Machamp is just, you know, better to use. It'll be solid, has a good attack, good defense, less HP, that kind of deal. Yeah, all right, so now I'm going to cover utility and stuff. So they do have a lot of utility now. Again, with Choke, especially with the Violate, has all that bulk. You can run a lot of really good stuff. So you have Taunt and Parting Shot, which are great. You have Encore, Wild Guard, and Quick Guard. You can use to PP stall certain moves because you can spam them in a row without having to miss things. Especially early game, Quick Guard is great early game because a lot of Pokemon have pretty much every Pokemon in the hack has at least one priority move that they start with, at least one. Most likely one for each of their stabs and each of their offensive. Like if you mix attacker with 2 stabs, would probably have 4, for example, if they have a type that has 4, 2 of each. So that's great because you can PP stall those entirely with Quick Guard because I gave those ones a lot of PP. So they're used for most of your PP stalling. Also, their Z effects are very good. I believe I made Z Quick Guard like a +3 speed or something, which is good actually from a choke. And then Wide Guard is the +2 defense, I believe, which is very, very strong. You know, just random nice little stuff there. You know, you have the Dark Carvage early game. You get knockoff as well, of course. But I was talking about utility, yeah. So you have access to a reliable recovery move called Timeout, which is a really funny name that I like. That summons a bell that'll like give them a turn to heal up. So it's basically just fighting type recover. It might even, I think I made it heal the opponent's side as a buff because only if your Pokemon get it. Like a lot of the fighting mons that are like fighters specific, like you know, like Hitmons, that kind of thing, like the ones that are only fighters, not a dual type mon. I created it mostly for those so they can have a healing move because I felt like Slack Off was weird on them. Which is Slack Off is like kind of the, oh, this one kind of fits, just give it Slack Off, that kind of deal for healing. But in this case, I felt like it didn't fit. Also, it's, yeah, cool move, all right? The point is it's really good with the Violite sets for reliable healing. Scary Face is good. -1 attack, -2 speed. Leer gives -2 defense. Dizzy Punches is there for psychic coverage besides before you get Zen Headbutt, which is nice. What am I trying to say here? Oh, Cross Chop should be way later. I suppose it's fine. Yeah, so Cross Chop is fine actually because you're not very fine. Never mind, Cross Chop is fine to be 37. So yeah, Circle Throw is good. It's 90 base power, negative priority. Reversal is very strong with like Endure, Select sets would be really, really powerful. Machamp with Reversal because of how his speed is. Like with +1 speed is very quick. Force Palm is so yeah, important stuff here. So Force Palm and Wake Up Slap are buffed. Sorry, Force Palm, Wake Up Slap, and Smelling Salts are all buffed. I mean, most moves are, but these ones are massively reworked. So Force Palm is a 40 base power move that always paralyzes, which is really cool. And that combines really well with Smelling Salts. Smelling Salts and Wake Up Slap are now 75 and 70 base power respectively. So sorry, they still keep their original powers. Also, this remix is garbage. Sounded like there was 2 things playing at once, dude. No offense to whoever created that, but it was not good. What was I saying, Ben? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, Force Palm. Force Palm, Smelling Salts. So yeah, Smelling Salts and Wake Up Slap are now priority moves that always flinch, but they only have 1 PP. So they work like Fake Out in the sense that, you know, they flinch, but instead of only working on the first turn, they have 1 PP as like a balancing factor. So you can actually click that whenever you want, which is cool. And also really works, synergizes really well with their additional effects, you know, which are like very fitting in terms of, what am I trying to say? They're very fitting because, you know, like you're kind of shocking them like Wake Up Slap, you're slapping them out of their sleep, so flinching makes a lot of sense. And then with Smelling Salts, you're like hitting them so hard that they aren't paralyzed anymore. You're resuscitating them, that's a Japanese name. So that flinching as well makes a lot of sense, and the animations fit really well. Oh my god, fit really well, and it makes a lot of sense because Fighting type has a shitload of moves, and there would be no way I could make them useful without this unique effect. So because there's just so many other moves for Fighting type, physical moves. So yeah, that's cool. Smelling Salts is a really good option with Force Palm, very strong. That becomes 150 base power if they're paralyzed, so you can use Force Palm and then click Smelling Salts next turn for a priority 150 base power move that'll flinch them. And you can time that for whenever you want. You know, you can keep them paralyzed as long as you want, and then once you're ready to kill them, you can click Smelling Salts, and it'll probably kill most non-resists because of the power of it. Of course, 1 PP only, so that's a one and done thing. It's like a Z move almost. Only arguably worse than a Z move because the move slot is dead after that. You also have Wake Up Slap, which is the same thing, but for sleep, which works with Knockout Punch, which is why it's at the same level. You have stuff like Superpower and Submission, which are really powerful stab moves. Submission is Superpower. Superpower is 150 base power, -2 attack now. There are tons of other moves like that. Giga Impact and Hyper Beam and tons of other new moves do that same effect. If you're curious about that, you can feel free to check the description for the link to the Google Sheets, and you can check out all of the move changes and buffs for yourself. There is tons of them. The vast majority of moves are buffed or changed in some way or reworked or renamed into something else. So you should definitely check that out if that interests you. You can also look at all the other Pokemon changes if you don't want to watch videos, which is totally understandable. You can look at them all yourself and, you know, unpack what those do yourself. You have a good setup, like I said, with Swords Dance, Bulk Up, Dragon Dance, Agility, and also Meditate is cool. Meditate gives you +1 special defense, +1 attack. So it's like a mix between Calm Mind and Bulk Up, which is pretty good for Machamp stats. Count is cool, Final Gambit's cool. Not good for Nuzlocke's Final Gambit, obviously, but still there. Brittle Swing is very strong Dark type coverage if you're not running Health Thrust or Sucker Punch or something. It's 125 base power, 25% recoil, and I believe it also bypasses stat boost, which is really good. Superpower, like I said, is great. Submission is 150 base power as well, but instead of doing -2 attack, it does 25% recoil and drops your defenses by 1. So it's like a super strong version of Close Combat, which is great. You know, just a nice little option for like the speed boosting sets, especially if you're running a slower set. I wouldn't run Submission because it makes you bulkier and makes you less bulky and you take damage. So it, you know, kind of leaves you vulnerable if you don't kill whatever's in front of you with it, which you probably will be killing them, to be fair. And you always are just gonna have to switch out later. But the same logic applies to Superpower still. So that's really awesome. Oh yeah, the other thing you have to worry about is killing yourself with recoil, of course. But you can actually run Shell Bell now. Shell Bell plus oh, I didn't get them Play Rough, did I? Oh, I thought Play Rough kind of fits. Oh well, too late now. Not too late, actually. I could totally edit literally right now. I kind of will. I think I will, actually. I've been giving a lot of new stuff Play Rough, and I think it fits that they can like play, fight, or whatever. Who knows? Who cares? It's a cool coverage build for them, so let's throw that on there for good coverage. Let's go to personal stats, and we're gonna go to Machamp, and we're gonna tick that box as well. Sorry, I should not. Again, I did these like several months ago, so I know I added that TM before I did their changes, probably, but I remember I went back and checked for new mons to get it. I guess I just missed them, or I guess I didn't like it on them, but I like it now, so yeah. Back on topic. I'm so sorry. I mean, there's not really too much else to cover. You're very good utility, very good coverage. Good with Assault Vest, good with speed boosting moves, good with webs, good with all types of stuff. Very solid bulk. Not the greatest bulky. I mean, he's bulky, but, you know, not that many resistances, so that keeps him in check. Priority moves are a huge staple for sure. You know, you have 2 via TM, and then you have Mach Punch and Bullet Punch by level up, which is great. I think that's really about it. I mean, I could cover every little thing, but that's going to take forever. So yeah, they are much more fitting to their designs now, as they should be. Yeah, just very solid coverage. Hits pretty much everything. Yep, super strong, super bulky. Just really good buffs all around for these guys. And again, picking between a Violite, Machoke, or Machamp is a pretty hard choice. I would recommend keeping Machoke until you notice that you need no guard or that you need the extra power. Say, for example, you're doing strategies and you're like, oh shit, I need to outspeed this Pokemon and I'm 60 base speed as opposed to 70. Or, oh shit, I need to get this KO on this Pokemon, but I only have 120 attack as opposed to 150. You know, then you can evolve. Otherwise, I would just keep them more bulk and also Scrappy. I actually would prefer to use Scrappy over No Guard. personally, on these ones, because their moves for Scrappy. I mean, until maybe at level 70, once you get knockout punch, yeah, by all means run no guard. But my point is, that's the pro gamer tip, especially if you're doing a Nuzlocke. I would recommend to wait to evolve a little bit until you see that you need it. I'm also biased. I like Machoke way more than Machamp. I think Machoke is pretty cool looking, but Machamp is kind of dumb. He's still a cool Bond, but I don't know. They got that Gen 1 charm, they get a pass because they were made in fucking 1998. Obviously, these designs were made today. I'll be like, what the hell is this garbage? Same goes for most Gen 1 designs. But yeah. Battle Cry is great for utility. Rock Smash is cool. Rock Smash is a 85 base power, -1 defense move. Same with like Fire Lash and all these other moves, Whiplash, etc. Rock Smash is Rock type, 100% accurate, 85 base power. So it's 10 base power weaker than Rock Slide, but it's more accurate, and the additional effect always drops defense, which is nice. So you can chip away at the opponent really nicely. Battle Cry drops both of the opponent's offensive stats by 2, which is great. You can use that with timeout on the choke and just be super fucking tanky. Yeah, really not too much else to cover. A lot of these moves are all buffs, so you can always check that out in the description for yourself. I think I'm gonna leave it off here at risk of talking too long. So thank you so much for listening, and I will be back to cover more of the old Kanto changes because I wanted to finish them before Johto was done. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, feel free to check out the description, check out more stuff. Also, all I ask in return is that you subscribe. If you listened this far, that would be pretty cool. It would help with the algorithm if you could also leave a comment or like the video in addition to subscribing, because that helps get my video recommended to more people. That always helps me get more exposure, which is really all I aim to achieve, other than just making a cool hack that I would love to play myself. And I'll definitely be streaming it myself once it's done. But yeah, I think that's about it. So sweet. See you guys in a little bit.